Hi all, I'm Crystal Hammer and this is Stunt Rally free track editor video tutorial. So let's finally start making a new track. There is only duplicating in editor. So the idea is to pick a track that you like the settings of, for example this terrain. After loading it, pick a new name for your track and press new duplicate. This will create this new track at the bottom with a star, meaning it's a user track. User tracks can be found in this location on Linux, in this folder. One important thing to note is that there is no undo in editor, so the only way is to save often and reload if mistakes are made. You can also do this like this, backup once a while this whole folder of a track, especially when key elements change on track, like terrain, and if something goes wrong you can just restore your own made copy. After we have duplicated the track, we can now remove needed elements from it while still having the setup for blend map, vegetation, sky, and so on. So on this tab here we can delete those elements like roads, fluids, objects, also caves, particles like clouds, waterfalls. And now we also need to press B to rebuild road to get rid of those columns. Now we have only terrain and vegetation. Let's go to terrain tab. And we have now the possibility to have more terrains. Here the second terrain and the third are used for horizons. We can remove them now. Now we are left only with one terrain and we can make it flat and also pick other Heightmap resolution. When it comes to terrain, the size is a result of Heightmap size, which can be one of these, and triangle size, which can be adjusted, and this will result in terrain size. Another useful thing in editor are the GUI tooltips. They are present on key elements. You can read more about what they change and what is recommended. They are also translated like other text elements in editor. Bigger Heightmap size will result in finer detail on terrain and driving, but will also change the file size of the Heightmap. It's also recommended to keep this triangle size between 1 and 2. After deleting not needed elements, let's save the track. Now let's pick a different size and make the terrain flat, thus making it empty. And let's save again. We can reload to see if it's still the same. Disable vegetation and let's see what this changes. It allows you to slightly change the terrain size without changing Heightmap, because once you edit it you cannot change it after. Editing terrain is somewhat like painting a canvas. To have a good looking terrain you need to use several brushes and paint in every place with different ones. It's up to you and the approach that you choose to make a track. You can have a road shape already in mind and then just decorate the terrain to match it, or you can first create the terrain and put road into it. But obviously you can also edit both after. It just takes more time. Another option at start is to use the terrain generator, which can generate the whole terrain. It can be used several times and it has various parameters similar to brushes. Its preview is on this image. You can quickly use it to get a terrain shape. You can also use it later to change it. These parameters are still not working in the previous Stunt Rally version. After just generating terrain, it will look very artificial, so I still recommend using brushes to paint it manually to get an artistic feeling. As you can see, there are already plenty of brushes available with presets for noise and different shapes. These are grouped into several categories. Also, the first number is saying the size of the brush and the second is the force. You can also edit and manage this list yourself if you wanted to. The easiest thing is to zoom in or out. If you like a brush, you can also give it a higher rating, making it bigger, and change the new line. Adding and deleting is somewhat slow. Now let's look at the terrain tools that are available and what they do. We have simple deform, which moves terrain up with left mouse button and down with right. We have then smooth, which will also flatten the terrain. It can be used to make steps like these here. Then we have filtering brush, which will remove noise. Let's first add some. For example, using this brush, we can lock the brush position in place with insert, which will not allow it to move. Now, with filter brush, we can remove this noise while still having the low frequency shape left intact. And there is also a height setting brush. You can pick the height from current cursor position with space and press mouse to set it to that height. You can also adjust it with right mouse button, faster with control, to have some platforms. Now this is just a demonstration, but for practice I really recommend early checking the track in game, and let's enable back vegetation, get a closer look. Maybe let's also put the car start position here to know the scale of this track. After each saving of track, you can test it in game. To make this track look more creative, let's use several brushes in different places. You can change the force and size with mouse wheel or adjusting it here. These are often changed, and also by keys. When the brush is locked, it will retain the shape. And when it's not locked, it will get blurry. The bigger the terrain is, the more time it will be needed to edit it. I also experienced this for any track that I need about 1 hour for a 1 kilometer of road that I'm editing. This will also vary by experience.